How you doing? This is Black Shy Guy once again. This is the second podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the first one. And I understand there was some audio issues. But you gotta understand the first podcast. We're working things out. We're getting things better. Hopefully, this one will be a lot better. Before we continue, make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And also listen, hit that alert button for any upcoming new videos. You understand me? All right. We got a couple of topics for you guys today, all right? Yes, I have Frank and Brian back. Like I said, they'll be starting their new channels, and we will notify you when it is up. But for now, you can enjoy them in Chi-Town right here in this podcast, our second podcast, which we will be discussing two major, and I'm telling you, major topics. And all right, I'm kidding, all right? It may be major, right? But it's topics. But once again, we got Brian. Say what's up, Brian.
Yo, world. What's up?
And Frank, say what's up.
What's happening, people? What's going on? Salute.
Yep. We're gonna start with the first topic. Obviously, the second topic is going to be about a video game that we all endured last week. We did discuss The Last of Us and the aftermath and the possibility of where that trilogy is going. We will be discussing another game and its trilogy and the possibilities of its conclusion, which hopefully you guys enjoy. But one topic in particular, guys, that I gotta discuss with you guys. And as you may know, there is no PS5. But I do have the Xbox. So I consider myself kind of the middle guy or about this debate or whatever, but I don't believe the new systems are causing enough impact for us to actually need them. I honestly think we can wait for the next generation systems. I think people who don't have the PS5, the people who don't have the Xbox, I think they can actually wait it out and get the next systems. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I want to hear from Brian first. I want to hear his experience. I want to hear the system he has out of the new generation systems. And if he doesn't have a new generation system, are you willing to still get it all waited out and get the PS6 and the new Xbox?
Alright, as of right now, my PS4 is heavy rocking, playing all the games that I need. But right now, honestly, when it comes to the PS5, if I'm to be frank, no pun intended, but if I'm to be that, it seems like all the games that I want to play, all the games that are of substance and substantial to the games that I like, the genre, RPG, adventure or so, they still making the game for the PS4 too. So Sony has not given me a reason to go, hey, let me go out and spend my hard-earned money to get a PS5.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
As of when the PS3 came out, you had Uncharted. So it was like you couldn't get that on the PS2, we all know. So there's no game-changing or game-breaking type of how should I say, software or so that came out that's like, okay, go get the PS5 or even the Xbox, because I had both back during the Xbox One and so on and so on. But this time around, I'm sorry, just my personal opinion, am I gonna wait out for the PS6? You kind of got me in the $1 million dream with that one.
I'm just saying. I mean, hey, Frank, you can chime in. I mean, how you feeling about this debate?
Well, I have a PS4 still because you can't get a PS5. So I have my PS4 Pro still rocking. PS4 Pro is rocking, and I'm doing my thing with that, and it's holding its own. But I haven't been buying any games for my PS4 Pro. I'm a box head. Don't hate me. I'm a box head. I'm primarily on my Xbox, and I do have a Series X, and I was able to get a Series X. It was a bundle, but I got it. I got a Series X. I was able to get one. So I'm rocking out on my Series X, And I'm not saying that you necessarily need a next generation console or a this generation console per se, but I'm enjoying the freedom of it. The quick resume, the frame rate boost, the HDR boost.
All right, all
I'm
that
enjoying all
technology
that
is
stuff.
all nice, but let's be serious. I mean, all that technology is nice, but isn't enough to make someone spend $500 to $600 because remember, they're selling it in bundles. They're not selling it in individuals, like you only get the system, etc. They're selling it in bundles. Is it worth spending $500 to $600 just to get those little cliches on the system?
I didn't take mine back. So it
Wow.
it was worth it to me to get those. The first game I got was NBA 2K21. I was satisfied with what they did. I wanted more, no question, but me wanting more, I wanted more per se, more games. I thought that it was. I thought it was next gen. The way it looked, the way it played, it was next gen. It was a next gen game.
Are you playing
I
NBA
wanted
2K still though?
Yeah, I actually do play 2K. I'm still playing 2K. I love 2K. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. There's no other basketball game out there. So if you want to play basketball, you play 2K.
You're ready to say.
So
I really think that. I mean, that's not enough to get the new gen systems. Listen, I'm not gonna front. I love my Xbox, but my dude, PS4 has been getting way more of a workout than my Xbox. Okay, my Xbox has been chilling, and don't tell me about Halo, cause Halo ain't make me consider anything. Okay, so far there has been no new games that has been forcing me to get a new system. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there's the new what's that game? Damn, I caught a brain fart. Wow. The one with the girl with the robot dinosaur, guys. I don't know what's her name. Forbidden.
Forbidden West.
Yeah, Forbidden West. That's the only game, and you guys gotta admit, that is the only game right now that pushes the boundaries to actually make us believe that the next gen has arrived. There's no other game.
Yes. Graphics wise, and or the things that she's able to do in this one. Yeah, I can see why. I can see that.
Sort of.
And it's the reason. Well, it's one of the reasons that I haven't jumped out to buy to go get a bundle for the PS5. Because I'm sorry. It's the reason that I haven't jumped out to buy that game on the PS4 rather, because I want to play it on the PS5. Couple of games I haven't bought that's out for the PS4 that I should have bought already, but I didn't because now they have PS5 iterations. Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man. They have PS5 iterations of these games. Now it makes me really want a 5 and want to play those games on the 5 to see what they actually did in terms of frame rates and stuff. I mean, that stuff is so you really don't think about that stuff. Like in a couple of generations ago, you really didn't think about frame rates and stuff, but now you're really seeing the difference between 30 and 60, and it's huge.
I don't think you really need that though.
You have to have it, but you playing it, and you shouldn't be saying that. You that plays fighting games, you are
exactly, but that's
player.
Okay.
You don't need 60 frames.
Okay,
you don't need that.
all right. Okay, that's true. If you're playing a fighting game, or if you're a high competitor shooting game player, if you're a gamer that loves to play Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Rogue Company, etc., those type of games, then frame rate does mean a lot to you because you need that refresh rate in the middle of a battle. You want that refresh rate. But if you're a type of gamer that only plays campaign games, you do not need that refresh rate. You don't need it.
I'm sorry to keep cutting it.
No, go ahead.
You don't need it. But now that I've seen the difference between 30 and 60, even in single player games, when you swing that camera and the picture doesn't blur out and it stays like it's supposed to stay, and everything is not gets all mushy and crazy until you stop moving the screen. Dude, it doesn't take you out of the immersion. When that happens and you swing the camera and the whole screen turns to mush, it takes you out of the immersion of the game. It's a huge difference.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you're playing Ghost of Tsushima and you're fighting a boss and you turn the camera, you're all of a sudden out of the immersion of the game because you get a little blurred.
No. Well, but that's when you see that your focus has changed. When you're fighting, you're focused on that. When you're not fighting, when you're walking through the world, when you're going from place to place and you swinging that camera around trying to enjoy the world, and every time you swing it, every tree turns to mush. It's disturbing and it's distorting and it takes you out of the immersion.
I got something for that because I've been listening to you both very carefully. I'm going to ask this question and then I'll just leave it open to your interpretation on whether it go forth or to PS5 or stay at PS4. You mentioned when you move to the right, move the camera to the right, pretty fast. I get it because due to ray tracing everything, the game will catch up so it doesn't turn to mush. And you're saying that that's so immersive. Now that's on PS5. Now let's say you do the same thing on PS4. And it turns to mush. Think about it. Everything on PS5, what I'm trying to say is everything that you're getting out of the game, out of the PS4, you're getting out of the PS5. If you want to be honest, you're getting trophies. You're getting trophies. You're getting the same dialogue. You're getting the same package that comes with launch day. There's really no difference besides the turning around, and I don't see you turning to mush, and I don't see the polygons forming when I turn.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not spending $600.
It's the only caveat is the visuals. I admit that. I'm not saying no.
What I'm basically trying to say is you're still getting the same product out of the game. You're not getting PS5 is not giving you more of a with the PS5 you're getting extra downloadable content for free.
No.
Because you bought the game rather than you getting it for the PS4. You still got to do the same thing. In actuality, now speaking of Ghost of Tsushima, as you said. When I actually got the director's cut. You got to pay more to play on the PS5. I'm only playing it for a little bit more graphics. I'm paying an extra $10, $15 more for a little bit of. Nah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm still getting the same experience as you are.
No question.
I really don't
understand. For those that can afford it, they want it. See, we're on that level where you're measuring. Is it affordable? It's a measuring stick for you in terms of price. Like, is it worth it for me to go get that? You know what I mean? And not get something else per se. Where somebody that has the money is like, yo, give me all of that.
Well, I'm looking at it in the aspects of necessity. Whether you have money or not, is it a necessity? And it's not. It's not. Mm-hmm. You don't need. You don't need. If you're. I'm gonna be real honest. If you play Apex Legends, a game like Apex Legends, and if you play Call of Duty, if you play those high, fast-paced games, even Rogue Company has picked up the pace with the added elements they added in that game. If you play those games, even if you play Super People, those type of competitive multiplayer games, you need them. You need the high refresh rate. So you need the new system. But let's not forget, you also need the television that can actually handle that type of power. So you're not only spending $500 to $600, you're spending close to $1,000. And remember, regular television can't push that much higher refresh rate. It's not a PC.
Yes, sir. See, now you coming back into my ball court, because again, this goes to those people that can afford that type of smoke. Now, if you could go get that television that can support all of the things that the PS5 can do. Why wouldn't I want to go out there and do that? And you have those people that are those first day adopters. That's what I call them. I don't know, that's what they're called, whatever. But that's what I call them, the first day adopters. That they gotta have stuff when it comes out on the first day. They gotta have it. They gotta be the guy that has it in their house, that has people come over and say, oh, look at my new, shiny, new, whatever. You got those people like that.
Yeah, no.
Thousands of them.
Absolutely.
Of them.
Absolutely.
They're gonna want that stuff.
Absolutely. But we're not talking about popularity here. We're talking about necessity. Let's go back to necessity once again. Do you need those systems? You don't need them. They're useless right now. Honestly. There's no game that's exclusive to the PS5 at all. at all.
Yeah.
So am I gonna spend $600 and some extra cables and a high refresh rate television just to play a game that I can actually play for the PS4 and have the same enjoyment that the one who has the PS5 has? He ain't gonna get anything better than I am getting.
That's basically what I said. Basically, in a nutshell, yeah. I said the same thing. Yeah.
If I'm a customer, then if I walk into your store, Frank, if I walk into your store and I got PS4, what are you gonna tell me that's gonna change my mind and say, hey, you know what, you need a PS5 in your life? And I say, well, what games does the PS5 have that the PS4 don't? What are you gonna tell me as a consumer?
I understand, guys. We this is not the first time we've had this issue.
Mm-hmm.
This has happened in every generation.
No.
The system plays games that plays games that plays it before. The PS2 play PS1 games.
When PlayStation 2 released, you needed a PS2.
Games. Say again?
When PlayStation 2 came out, you needed a PS2. You were out the ballpark if you didn't get a PS2 compared to a PlayStation 1.
Right. That's a major difference.
That's a big jump from PlayStation 1 for PlayStation 2. Even PS3, which I think PS3 was the most sold, right? Or was it PlayStation 2?
No. I think it might. Well, they'll do it in the comments, but I think it's PS3 that sold actually.
From each of those systems was a major jump. Major. Like there were games coming out for the system that the last system can't play.
Indeed. Now, all right, then jump into the PS2 to the 360. That line starts to get a little bit blurred because now the 360 can play per se Xbox One games. The PS3 could play PS2 games, and now like you said, the PS2 was so popular. Now we're talking about PS2. PS2 was super popular at the time.
They had the most games.
The most popular ever sold. They had the lead. It sold over 100 million consoles.
Yeah, I believe it was PS2 that sold the most.
So when the PS3 came out, it had to play PS2 games, and they were making games for both systems. Games would come out that's made for both systems. So in the same games, not different games.
The jump was still drastic.
Both systems.
The jump was still drastic.
So what's the difference here?
Difference. All right. I'm gonna have to. All right. I'm gonna do this one real quick too. We're jumping from PS2 to PS3 and Xbox to Xbox 360, correct? So I can make sure.
Right, and then 360 to Xbox One, we got the same thing. Xbox One played 360 games, and they made it. We got the same thing. It's all the way through.
Yes and no. From PS2 to PS3, honestly, the graphic jump. Besides, it's not only that the graphic jump was different, and also the frame rate thing that you're talking about. That actually occurred. That problem that you're talking about actually occurred between the PS2 and the PS3. The PS3 cleaned up a lot more than rather when you turn for the PS2. And also, maybe it's me, but it don't have to, be with you guys. The difference between playing the game on the PS2 and the PS3 for me is when you play the game on the PS3 and stuff like that, you got something for your bang for your buck. It's like trophies. That's like a new thing now. Mm-hmm. You got like an accomplishment that made you more go, I'll play the same thing on the PS2, but I'll play on the PS3 because at least I'm getting something for what I'm doing, which can add to replayability and or trying to grind in your game. It makes your game more sexy, more attractive. So that's actually the difference between PS2 and PS3 and Xbox and Xbox and 360.
Again, we're talking about necessity. You don't need that.
Yes, because even the dashboard was different on a PS2.
Yeah.
Major difference. You couldn't do things on the PlayStation 1 when you got compared to the PS2. It was a necessity.
Now, in terms of the way the systems work, now you're gonna have big jumps because of the way the internet works and the way the system started to.
The internet started to be a little bit important on PS2. A little bit. It wasn't really pushed.
No question. So I mean, we would have to push it forward per se to
PS3.
I would say 360 Xbox One and
Yeah.
PS3, PS4,
Yeah.
because those are more in line with each other in terms of
Mhm.
the way the system works and the internet and all that. So PS3 to PS4, we definitely had that.
It was a
We definitely
big
had
drastic jump.
that crossover. But you had that crossover where you having the same games made after the PS3 was like not the main system anymore, and the same games are being made, but did you actually need those? Did you actually need a PS4? Did
Yes,
you
you
need a PS4
needed a
to play those things
PS4.
on the PS3?
Yeah, you did, man. You
Software, the software was different. Even the apps that required the PS4's power were different. I mean,
did. Yeah.
Party chats were
Internet
different.
control.
I mean, you couldn't do. Remember, PS3 couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I mean, the jump from those systems was so drastic. Now that we have reached, that's why everybody's so surprised, because when PS5 released, when it comes to dashboard and all of that, it hasn't reached a level that it's not much of a difference. And I'm sure you can vouch for it. You got the new Xbox. I got the new Xbox. Dashboard is not much difference, honestly. Not much different at all.
They wanted to make it streamlined so you wouldn't feel that it was a drastic. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have that shock. That oh my God, this is so different. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, I got to learn my system all over again. That's why they did that.
Well, I mean, that's ridiculous, because we comparing to the jumps of the last couple of systems, we adapted pretty well. So why all of a sudden hold back? Like that doesn't make any sense. I think that
keep it streamlined. Keep what people know. Keep people like Sammy. Keep it with what I know. Keep it familiar, and people buy familiar.
Well, I think familiar should be freaking excluded. should be an exempt, because these new systems have been highly. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I would have had a PS5 if it was readily available, but it's not readily available. But that it has also showed me, for the fact that it's not readily available, it has shown me how much I really don't need it. You know, like it's not really required. Like I'm still having fun with my PS4. I'm having a blast. PS4 is my most played system out of all my systems. PS4 is my most played system. I'm surprised it did not break yet. Oh, I hope I didn't jinx it.
Watch your mouth.
I hope I didn't jinx it. But I mean, PS4 is my most played system. I understand what you're saying, Frank, about the graphics, about the cliche of the refresh rate. But I mean, when you get into the graphics of these systems, now you gotta get into the hardwares of the systems, like televisions, cables, because people think that you'll get the same performance if you only have the system, and some people think you can get the performance if you have the system and the television. You still need the wires that can push that type of power out. You know what I mean? And it's just the expense is ludicrous. I mean, games is becoming unaffordable to a lot of people. Yes, I understand that, but are these new systems required? Are they an immediate necessity for gamers right now? And I believe we're in a good place with the PS4 and the old Xbox. I think we're in a good place. I think despite the COVID messing everything up, messing up the sales and etc., and also messing up the availabilities of these new systems, we're in a good place. We don't need them. I mean, PS5 has yet to touch down in my house, and I'm feeling quite fine. You know, like
I'm not looking, like that picture Wolverine be looking at that he did on Jean Grey, and him, like he was all sad and everything like that. I'm not doing that to the PS5.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't need you.
I'm not singing no Sweet Symphony for the fact that I don't have PS5. I am not singing no Sweet Symphony.
I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
When my friends tell me, "Oh, I got a PS5," I'm like, okay. I mean, you're not doing you're still not doing anything I can't. You know? I mean, basically. I don't see any.
I think we gotta be very careful about what we want. I think this is really telltale of what's happening in the industry right now, in terms of us being ahead of ourselves. and how it's affecting it. I think it could have an adverse effect on the industry in a couple of ways, because it's affecting a couple of industries at once. And what I think what's happening is the technology is just getting ahead of us, and this is why there are no games on these.
That I agree with you.
Because the technology is getting ahead of itself.
Yeah,
it's happening with televisions. We're already in the 8K era. There's no 8K content out there. What you're looking at, that's 8K.
There's nothing that supports 8K at all.
Who has an 8K television? No, nobody has an 8K television because there's no content out for it. But we're in the era already. So, and these machines per se, we haven't had the updates yet, but I'm assuming at some point they'll be able to do 8K, but there's no real reason to run for it because when the technology is not there for it to be, why would they even waste time on it in terms of the developer? Why would they waste time making 8K content? The machines can't do it, and nobody has televisions that can support it.
Gaming has reached a place that we all thought it wasn't going to reach. Because remember, gaming now has hit corporate. Because gaming never used to be corporate. Now gaming is corporate. And corporate is pushing the boundaries because now they see the money that's involved in gaming. And now that they see the money that is involved with gaming, it has expanded to streaming. And now streaming is pushing a lot of the lines when it comes to gaming. Because 8K has not even touched streaming yet. It can't. I mean, there's no way you can't even stream 2K. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you can't. Streaming has not. I mean, the most you get out of a stream, you can barely push out. Don't get me the lion. You can barely push out. Look up the highest you can push out on a PC.
1440.
Huh?
1440. 1440p.
Yeah, you can barely push that out. You know what I mean? And is it true 1440p? You know what I mean?
Your PC should be able to push out.
No, yeah, because my PC is my PC is pretty powerful. But what I'm saying is it true? Not coming out of your PC. Let's say if you're streaming from Twitch, if you're streaming from another platform like Trovo or something like that, is there software whatever pushing that out to the audience? Or is the audience actually experiencing that type of graphics, that type of visuals? I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's just they haven't produced that type of technology yet that can push out that type of power. So that's why I say graphics is not that important just yet. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with future proofing your whole software. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to future proof your accessories, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just don't think that it should be your priority right now. I think there's much better things that you can do with the money that you have in store. You know, and remember, even though you're future proofing it, no matter what happens when it really hits mainstream and the graphics actually can be pushed out, you'll still be behind. Now that you future proofed your accessories, you're behind now because people is gonna go out and get the even stronger systems and stronger cables and stronger television. You know, even though you future proofed your stuff, you got the last year models. You know what I mean? But I mean. Gaming has reached a place that we like, but at the same time it complicates things. And let me know, guys, what you think. Do you really need a brand new system like we said, or do you not need them? Let me know down in the comments. Please keep it respectful because we're gonna move on to our next topic, and our next topic is God of War. Yes, we'll be discussing Kratos himself. Kratos, a god killer. Kratos, a father. Kratos, is he even can you actually call him a hero? Because he actually doomed the world, you know what I mean? But it's funny how an individual who just was out, who was just a warrior, who basically Metal Woman had Calliope, and Calliope, him having Calliope and losing Calliope, basically started a whole trilogy that we fell in love with, and God of War has become one of the most popular trilogies known to man, and Kratos has become an icon. I mean, will I say he's cloud level? I think he is. I think Kratos has reached the level that we all love. But where's Kratos heading to now? Where's he heading? Where's the story going? We all enjoyed God of War. I love God of War. Am I worried about where it's going? Kind of, but I'm dying to know the conclusion or the possible continuation of something brand new. What you guys think? Anybody can chime in. Anybody can jump in.
Well, I mean, I think when they introduce his son to the mix, I think that just tells us where we're going with the series right up in the front, that they want to sort of pass the ball. And we're seeing that with a lot of games. Naughty Dog does it all the time, and passing the ball. And God of War looks like they're going to do it too. And not to mention having these games that have these sort of side characters that help the main character. That's been sort of a thing too. They did it with BioShock Infinite. I like the way they did it there. Even Gears of War, the last Gears of War, Gears 5, having Jack in the game.
Yeah,
was just very instrumental. And when you're playing, if you're playing Inconceivable, you know, it's very instrumental. And I missed him when I played Hivebusters, and he wasn't in Hivebusters, and you could tell the difference, huge difference. But in terms of God of War, and I think the series is going to go to his son. I think that's where it's going, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess I have to wait and see how it plays, because I'm in love with Kratos. I love Kratos. I've been playing since PS1. I've been supporting all the way through, and that's my dude. I was a little salty when they changed the character in terms of the voice, when they changed the character to who it is now.
I think he's pretty good. I like him. I like his voice. I like his I don't know. I mean, he's grown on me. I do.
I'm not saying he's not good.
I'm absolutely. I know.
I was salty that they changed it, because I'm like, I still want him. But after I played it, I'm like, all right, this is acceptable. I like this guy.
What you think, Brian?
Right. Okay. Whew. This is a kind of a tough one on me. I'm not gonna lie. Because of you, Black Shot Guy, that's the reason why I got into Kratos anyway. Because remember, you introduced me to God of War. I didn't even start it until part 2 came out, so I had to go back and play part 1.
I remember.
So honestly, Frank, you said something that I do agree with. It's a possibility that they are sort of transitioning it to his son, because choice stuff that happened in the game itself. I'm trying to say it exactly how it happened when they got to Jotunheim, and Atreus was looking at the markings that his mother actually did, and basically plotted out the entire game. Atreus ran off while Kratos took off a kind of curtain or so and saw his possible death. If y'all remember correctly, it showed his.
I hope that doesn't come to light, but yeah.
Now, when it comes to that, I think it will happen. But
so you think Kratos is actually gonna die?
Yes. But there was something else that happened on the mural that showed, like, I'm about to call him Loki because that's what his mother wanted to call him. But Atreus doing something out of his mouth as form of a different power that may revitalize Kratos in some way. Because one thing that Mimir said about Atreus is every god gets powers as they grow up. So we don't know all of your powers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what if alongside of something that Freya actually helps, because she's a witch. What if something alongside of Freya helps him revitalize Kratos?
Freya wants to kill him right now.
Wait. Of course, in the beginning. Remember, she has to go through her own cycle of revenge / forgiveness as well, as I stated in the other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing a hypothetical out there because we're talking about how we think it might go.
Yep, absolutely. You're entitled to it.
So in actuality, I'm just saying, trying to put all the pieces together, that alongside of passing it to his son now, alongside of what Prodigal Son actually said, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because the many times they try to pass it to the son and or another character, it hasn't worked well. You mentioned Gears of War. I'm sorry, I played part 4 and I hated the fact that Marcus Phoenix was not the central character because his son dribbled the ball into out of bounds too many times. I couldn't take it.
Sure,
and also,
horrible.
Alongside of anime, DBZ, when they try to make Gohan the main character, and the world said, no, Goku, and Goku had to come back, and stuff like that.
Gohan wasn't bad at all, though. Honestly, they just didn't push him right. They didn't push him right because when Gohan, I don't even want to dive into that because they'll be just taking us left. But I just want to say one thing about Dragon Ball Z and what they did. Super wrong with that. When Gohan had the power of anger, they didn't push that storyline further after he beat Cell, and they really didn't push Gohan further after that. Even after he beat Bojack, they went right back into Goku because they know Goku sells. They didn't believe in Goku pushing the boundaries of where they didn't believe in Gohan pushing the boundaries to where his father was, so they went right back to the original protagonist, which is Goku, which I believe was a wrong idea.
Deep dive.
That's a quick deep dive about Dragon Ball Z. Sorry, guys. I'm a little salty about Goku coming back every time.
You think?
Jesus. I mean...
Continue, Brian.
Okay, but basically, in a nutshell, I'm not sure. Now, I am going to say something else. Where they could go, because from what it was saying, this is the last one of the Norse mythology.
Yeah.
There's another one where there's another just like the Norse has their own gods, Greece has their own gods, Egypt has their own gods as well.
Yeah.
You can go to Egypt. You do remember when they went to Tyr's vault? He had a whole bunch of places that he visited. There was some Greece and there was some Egyptian stuff then. So in actuality, I can see Kratos leaving this land. Because if you notice, one thing about Kratos is he kind of leaves the house a mess when he leaves. He did it to Greece, and he's going to do it here because Ragnarok is coming due to the actions of what he's doing. And what everyone knows about Ragnarok is actually the rebirth of Asgard. It's actually rebirth. So Ragnarok is gonna come, and it's gonna mess up everything, and Kratos is gonna walk out as if he ain't doing nothing. So in actuality, I feel, or maybe I'm gonna go some more think. Egypt is the next step. He's gonna go to another land full of gods, him and Atreus, and they're gonna continue from there. That's my thought.
That's interesting. What I believe may happen and what I believe shouldn't happen is very different in itself. I don't believe they should remove Kratos at all as of yet. Do I like Atreus? I've grown to like him almost at the end, especially when Kratos went into that portal. I apologize. I forgot that portal when he went in and he actually found out what he had to do and left Atreus to fight all those minions while Atreus protect the gates. And it showed me a part of Atreus, even though we didn't see him fight all those people. We just knew in battle he matured. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what he did, but I started liking him there. But I'm gonna admit it, he was a pain in my freaking ass in the beginning of the game, almost to like I would say 3/4 of the game, because he was so immature. Even after he found out that he was a god, his immaturity was annoying. Like he was like, well, why shouldn't we rule? We're gods, or whatever the case may be. I don't think the game should be left in the hands of Atreus yet, because to me, he's almost a point to annoying, like the way Marcus Phoenix's son was annoying. Because Atreus, and don't get me wrong, like I said, I like him now, but I don't like him to the point that he can take over the series. I think Kratos still has a lot to do with the series. I believe that and I'm not sure if you guys know which Loki is Atreus going to be, because they're different versions of Loki. Now, is he gonna be someone who eventually turns evil? Because remember, Atreus has that trait. He believes that he should rule because he is a god. Remember, he still has that trait. He still has that mindset. So, is he gonna be kind of good but turn evil sometimes when it fits him? Because that's how the gods are anyway. That's why Kratos hates them, because that's why Kratos doesn't trust them, because gods always have a means to an end when it befits them. You know what I mean? And Atreus is acting like a god, and that's what Kratos does. That's what Kratos hates about his son. He's acting like a god that he despised all his life. Should Kratos die? I don't think so. I think Kratos should suffer a fatal wound and for some reason get cured. And I don't even care if Atreus has to take over the last quarter of the mission himself and find even the ambrosia that was in part 1, I believe, or whatever, part 2. Well, the ambrosia was around part 1 and part 2. He went and found the ambrosia again and killed Kratos of his wounds, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I think Atreus has a lot to learn, and I think they should finally pass the torch when he's actually more mature, has a beard, looks like more of a man. He's still a little kid. You're gonna leave the game in the hands of that guy? Like, Kratos has at least 2 more games. I believe Kratos has at least 2 more games. I don't think that it's over for Kratos, and there's too much story to tell still with Kratos, that for you to end his trilogy like that. I mean, this is actually, I'm confused, guys. This is the 2nd game on the new generation systems, right? For Kratos, right? Out of the trilogy, this is the 2nd game, right?
Yeah, but what they're saying is they're not going to be a 3rd one. Like, the Norse mythology is ending. Ragnarok is coming, and it's going to be, that's it.
Wow, so Ragnarok is actually just the final of this chapter.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't know that Atreus is ready to hold that weight of holding the game up by himself. Truthfully speaking, it would be a challenge. It really would, for the fact that we're talking about one of the strongest characters in video games. We're talking about iconic characters, and we haven't seen a lot of, I mean, we've seen it, but haven't seen a lot of it where that's a success, where a secondary character comes in. We've seen it with Halo. It didn't work. When they brought in
Spencer Locke?
Locke. And dude, we've seen it fail.
We've seen some.
And I still, and Atreus, I don't think he's shown us in terms of his offensive skills either. We really haven't seen. We've seen some stuff with him. I mean, of course, we've seen some stuff, but we really haven't seen a real offense from him like Kratos would have. And he would really have to step his game up and have that and bring that on. And I mean, we all love Kratos, the blades, but now he got the hammer to swoop. I mean, all he got is still, it acts like the hammer. Acts like the hammer Thor. It's the axe, but it acts like the hammer Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, you really.
Yeah. That's where they copied it from.
Exactly. So that's what I attribute it to, and we just starting with that.
Exactly.
So
and remember, the Blades of Chaos are back. He brought them back. So.
Oh no, indeed.
When he dies, what are you gonna do with the Blades of Chaos? Like, when he dies, that has to go with Kratos. Like, that has to, like, the Blade of Chaos has no purpose after Kratos dies. Like, I mean, yes, is he binded to them like before? No, he's not really binded to them anymore. I mean, but I mean, there's a lot of things with Kratos that are unsolved. Like, I mean, call me. Maybe this is a stupid question. Is he still covered with the ashes of his wife and daughter?
Yes, he is.
So,
yes, he is.
and I know the markings he has of his brother is still on him, but that's because of his own choosing. But the markings of the ash is still on him. So, do the dreams still haunt him? I mean, I don't remember. Was he cured of that? He wasn't cured of that yet, was he?
No.
So he still gets the dreams, and he still has the ash on him.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of. I mean, listen. We all. I mean, don't look at me like that. You guys can't act like you guys remember. All right. Just put it down in the comments on all the questions that you guys remember, and just put it down in the comments and remind us. But what I'm saying, right, is Kratos has a lot of things that need answers. Like, remember when Calliope was in that Elysium. So is he gonna go back there when he dies, or what? Like, I mean, is he promised that?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that one. Elysium is for the Greek, is the Greek version of heaven. Greek. So he can't go there anymore. In God of War, well, they'll say it in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it was the blades, not the chains of. Is it the chains of Olympus?
Yeah.
Persephone was the holder of Elysium, and remember her ploy on.
When he killed her, and Atlas.
Right.
But that was in Chains of Olympus.
Yes. So Elysium is Elysium is the Greek version of heaven. Now that he's in Norse, remember they have Valhalla. Remember they have Valhalla, and Helheim is their version of hell. So in actuality, he won't go to Elysium anymore. He has to be in the Greek realm to go to Elysium, which I believe he destroyed because he had to get his power back. That whole thing with Persephone and stuff like that. That's how he killed Persephone.
Yeah, but true. I know Persephone was a schemy ass biatch, but Morpheus was the one with dreams, right? Morpheus was the one. He was like the god of dreams. They didn't even seek him. Huh?
You're right. Orpheus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe he perished. Obviously.
He did. He had to.
Yeah.
He had to.
So
yes. He made Kratos kill him.
He made Kratos kill him, but at the process of trying to find his brother at that time.
Yes,
wasn't it?
That was the ways. If I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember. Change of Olympus was a long time, guys. We haven't played in a while. So
yeah,
that definitely gave me.
I believe he was the holder of dreams. That was Ares' son and stuff like that. And he did make Kratos kill him at the point of help. It was to help him cope and forget the tragedy of killing his family.
Yeah. That was promised to him when he killed Ares, and after he knew that didn't kill him, he wanted to kill himself, and that's when Athena made him finally the god of war, because she wanted to give him a purpose to live. But obviously that purpose has been extinguished with everything that happened. But does Kratos still serve a purpose for them to kill him right after Ragnarok? Remember, Kratos, I think it's way too soon, because it will almost distinguish the great touching story of him being a father and watching his son grow up. You know? Like, that's what made God of War, the last God of War, so touching, because Kratos had to learn how to be a single father.
The day you were born, I made 2 knives, mixing metals from my home and from this land. One for myself, and when you were ready, one for you. Today is that day.
So I'm a man now, like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that. The responsibility is far greater. And you must be better than me. Understand?
It will be better.
And what, you're gonna kill Kratos off in the middle age of his son, not even past teenage years? We want to continue watching that. We want to continue watching Kratos as a single father. We want to see Kratos proud of his son growing up and being a strong warrior and finally taking his lessons to heart and doing what Kratos wanted him to do. I think Atreus has a lot to learn for them to kill off Kratos. And like Frank said, I don't believe Atreus is ready for that weight. I don't believe we as fans are ready for him to handle that weight. And remember, there has only been, I know I've been carrying on, there's only been one person that was able to take on the role of lead protagonist from someone, and only one person succeeded in doing that from what I can remember right now. Maybe you gamers down in the comments might put it down, hey, you forgot this guy, but he's the only one that comes to mind, and that's Leon. Leon is the only protagonist who has taken over Chris Redfield's spot and took off with it. You know what I mean? Like, he took off with it. So
Right.
I don't think Atreus can do that.
I think it would be smart for them to hold off on that and flesh out, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is Atreus' first game. So
Exactly.
for him to take the ball and start running with it, I think that would be a little quick in the series for them to do that. I think they need to flesh out that storyline where he learns more from the god of war. You gotta learn how to be a god from the god of war. You gotta learn from Kratos. So this fleshing that storyline out makes a game. If you do it right, that could make a game, and beautifully make a game, because we're looking for more of that type of game. Where I remember when, like some years ago, developers' main focus was to try to make somebody cry in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they ever achieved it or if it's ever been documented per se, but that is the goal, to make somebody cry from a video game like a movie would do. You watching a movie, your girl watching a movie, whether does some crazy shit happen. So, they want to do that, and they want to evoke that kind of emotion from a video game. And I think these type of storylines are the type of storylines that they're trying to do that type of thing with. And I'm not sure if it's been done yet. So I think,
well,
they
it's
should
been
keep
done
going
for
with it.
me.
They should
I
keep
mean,
going with it.
I cried when Aerith died in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I was about to mention.
I teared up when that happened. Like, I reached such an I think gaming caught me there. Like, I reached such an emotional state when I seen Sephiroth plunge the sword through Aerith, and I knew the game got me emotionally, because all I was thinking was putting my blade to Sephiroth's face, and all I can see all day was watching Aerith. I mean, that's one moment that caught me teary-eyed. It definitely, I'll be lying to you if I say I didn't tear up. I did tear up when Aerith died. Like, I literally screamed when Sephiroth jumped and about to pull. I screamed at that moment. I remember I screamed. I was like, no! I mean, do you have any moments that you actually teared up, Brian, or what?
I mean, that honestly, that's actually it. Because I remember going, "Oh my God, no!" And my mother coming in and saying, "What?" And I'm looking at her like, he didn't have to do that to her. That's how. Yes, that did get me. Where I was like, "Yo, I never ever want to square up and give somebody the fade more than Sephiroth that day." I was like, however how much level gain I need to get, I'm getting it, because when I get you, it's on site. That's the way it was for me. That's the way it was.
And I'm not gonna lie, Frank might say something with this, because I also kind of teared up. I'm not gonna lie, but it was out of anger. I teared up when Cortana was gone in Halo, in that end. In that scene when I found out I wasn't gonna, when she was gone, and all I kept thinking about was the sequel to Halo so I can go rescue her. I did almost teared up there. So gaming, yes, the gaming has caught me twice.
caught me too. I can't believe no game has caught you emotionally, Frank. You telling me you never
No,
teared up?
Not. I didn't go all the way, but there was a scene in Half-Life. I think it's Half-Life 2.
Wow, you took it back to classic.
Mm.
Yeah.
Half-Life, baby.
Yeah, Alex's father died in the he saved his daughter, but the scene, like he put her in a tube and he's sending her off, and he had to do it. You know what I mean? He had to. There's no way in order to save her. He had to. There's only one way. There's only one person that could get in. He had to put her in and pull a switch so she could get out.
Okay.
And then and the speech that it was just gripping. The speech that he gave her as she's, about to get shot out of the tube. It was good. It was good stuff. Oh, that was a long time ago, but I remember that scene. Like, wow, that was deep. It was an old black dude. And I could, He could have been my grandfather type shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, that's great. Yeah, that's classic stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy how we can dive in and remember. This all came out of the topic of what we've been discussing, which is God of War and games. I think games has touched us emotionally in a lot of ways, and I didn't cry in that scene, but even with Solid Snake, when he finally saw the original Snake, his copy, his what you may call it, when he finally saw the original Big Boss in that scene by the graveyard, and I was like, holy crap! If they don't end the series here, they're dumb. They should just completely end the series right here. When he finally saw Big Boss, I couldn't believe Big Boss was still alive. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, where was your ass at when all of that was popping off? Like, where the hell were you? Like, you coming up to me in a graveyard in a trench coat and all, like it's sweet. Where the hell was your ass? But
if we're talking the word of America, he was ducking and dodging child support. He was gone. His ass.
Oh man! No. It was crazy. It was just crazy seeing him. But in reference to God of War, I think the series has touched us, and I think we're just not ready to see Kratos go. I'm not ready to let him go. You know what I mean? And a lot of people may laugh. People who may watch this podcast and say stuff like that. To me, gaming is just like movies. So people who say I would never feel sorrow for a video game character, then you never felt sorrow for a movie that you was watching. It doesn't make sense. I think video game characters have the same amount of meanings that a movie character has, and I'm just not willing to let Kratos go yet. Let him do one more game, and then you could send him off. But like Brian said, this is the final one of Ragnarok, the final one of this, and the fact that it is the final one, maybe it is time for him to go. You know what I mean?
All right.
Even though we don't want it.
I got something to add on to what you said. You and Frank said some interesting things, so I just want to double down and just put my stamp on it. The reason why I do, like I said, I don't know how to feel about it, but the reason I'm just saying I don't know how to feel about it if they do kill him, but I don't believe he should go for this reason. God of War, the main trilogy, before the fourth one, before we got this one, was Kratos just being angry, seeking revenge. Yeah, we glued to him because we wanted that. We wanted him to get his revenge because what happened to him was crazy. But this God of War that came out was something different. We saw Kratos in a different light. The light was a man. And now we got to talk about for us as not only fathers but men. Yo, I made a lot of mistakes in the past. I'm tired of repeating them. I want to go to somewhere new. I want to get a fresh start. Now I have a son. Now let's be honest. God of War actually saw us grow with Kratos while growing with his son at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's so rare to see the way Santa Monica did it. That's something that's special, because now, as y'all stated, Atreus isn't ready. He still has Kratos' anger, as we all saw. He still has Kratos' anger, Kratos' sharp tongue, and his recklessness of how he wants to try to do things. Black Shy Guy did eloquently put that he still has that God thing in the back of his head, and he still has that way of kind of that superior thing, the way he wants to go about things. Kratos is actually looking at what Black Shy Guy said, a god in the making, of who he discussed. So in actuality, I believe story-wise, Kratos shouldn't go nowhere. He should still be there to try his best to not let his son do anything. Of course, as now we go as parents now. You try to make sure your child does not do anything to end up somewhat like you, miserable, vengeful, angry. Because remember, Kratos actually quells his anger so much. He quells his anger so much, which is why you have the Spartan rage, which is he can't take no more. And you actually saw in God of War 4 that Atreus actually has that. He actually has that. So just to smooth this out, Kratos needs to be there for us to see him grow as a person, because he's not done yet. He's not done yet. We need to see him grow as an individual, as a man, as a father, and do his best to not let his son go down anywhere near the path that he did. He's not done. I
think Kratos, despite his growth, despite his ability to quench his, not to quench it, but to dilute his anger so it won't get to a level that's uncontrollable. I think that he will never find peace. I think Kratos, and this is my opinion, I would like to hear you guys' opinion. I think he will never find peace, and I think he will not be allowed in the halls of Elysium. He will not be allowed in the halls of Valhalla. He will not be allowed in any one of those halls, because I think when he dies, I think his death, whenever it happens, maybe it'll happen in Ragnarok, but I think his death is gonna be like those type of deaths that he'll be in limbo. You know what I mean? Like he'll be almost, and I'm not talking about Mass Effect type Shepard type death, when Shepard died, but he's in the earth, he's in the air, that you know what I mean? I'm talking about God. I think Kratos knows that when he dies, it's not gonna be, he's finally gonna find peace, in essence of he finally won't be able to dream about what he did or etc. like that. But I think the storyline is gonna take Kratos to a death that none of us has ever seen before. I think his death is gonna be he's gonna pay for what he's done. And because he's done a lot. I think what the Oracle told him before he killed all those villagers, including his wife and daughter who got led by Ares to the village, I think, remember what she said? She said it's going to lead you down a path, and basically you're going to pay for it. And I think it's finally going to come to pass in his death. I don't think it's going to be peaceful. I just think it's going to be peaceful only in the fact that he accepts his punishment. Like he knows, I'm gonna die. I know what I did, and I deserve it. He's just gonna go out like a G, and he knows he's gonna get punished, but he's gonna go out like a G nonetheless. What you think? What you guys think about the finalization and death of Kratos? How he's gonna go out?
I think they're gonna follow that story arc where it's a full circle sort of thing, and it's very very video gamey, and you got to think that it's going to be such in order for them to be successful. So what usually happens in these situations is the full circle scenario is just what it is, and then it'll start over again once it goes full circle. Just like anything else, it starts over because it's full. The circle is full. So Kratos will get, I don't know how many more games, maybe one, maybe two. And in those 2 games, 1 or 2 games, Atreus will be trained per se, and he'll be brought up to be per se the god of war, just like we're seeing per se. Kratos is seeing that his son has the same traits that he had as a young god, and he's trying to thwart those feelings in him and trying to give him what he knows as a god coming up. So, like you said, he wouldn't be so angry, and he won't be a god that's all, you know, crazed all the time and trying to kill.
I don't think he's gonna be a god of war. Kratos doesn't want
Exactly.
that for Atreus.
He doesn't want him to be a god of war per se. So in order that to come full circle, Kratos has to be around in order to train him to be that, because he already sees that he's going down the wrong path. So this is very video gamey in terms of that, in that sense.
But you're saying to be what though? You're saying Kratos is training him to be what? To be what? Like I'm trying to understand.
Well, like I said, now Kratos has come full circle. Kratos now is not the Kratos we met in God of War.
No, absolutely not. No way.
Now
No way.
Now he's come full circle. So now he wants his son to do the same thing. He wants his son to come full circle. But you have to train, you have to bring him up that way. You have to let him know that the things that you're going to do have consequence. And you're going to do those things. They have consequence. And you don't want to be me. See what happened to me. You don't want to be me.
Well, he will have to tell his son finally what he did.
You would have to teach him.
All right.
Simple as that.
All right. He does. In my opinion, I don't think he wants him to be a god of war. He knows that life where it led him, the people that he killed. Now, the reason why I say he doesn't want him to, he didn't tell him everything that he did, but he did tell Atreus, I killed people who deserved it, and I killed people who didn't, and that was him as the god of war. So he does not want that blood and that blood, the consequence for that to be on Atreus' head. He did tell him again when Atreus was a little arrogant, there are consequences to killing a god. And he asked, how do you know? How do you know?
Yep, he did.
And he did not exactly tell him his entire full past. Now, how do I believe that it's going to be explained or so to him, and so forth and so on. There was one part where Atreus was trying to get some clarity, and he was a little bit lost and clouded, and he tried to express to Kratos like, is this the cycle of gods, fathers killing their sons, and so forth and so on, and you know, it kind of blindsided Kratos a bit, but he did tell him, Atreus did ask him, would you ever give up your life, like, you know, to protect, to you know, for me? And he said, if it meant to protect you, I would. So that's why I believe, as Black Shaka did say, he might receive a fatal wound due to protecting Atreus, and that's why I believe he's probably gonna pass away, but not fully die. Well, sorry, that doesn't make sense. He's going to pass away. He's going to be unconscious, whatever, and Atreus may have to do something to bring him back. But basically, I don't feel like it's gonna end Kratos' story in Ragnarok. I think he's just gonna die, but then have to be brought back in some way or shape or form. Because, to be honest, there's still some more about Faye we need to learn through Kratos.
I think Faye is gonna perish in the next one.
No, she did perish already.
No. Yeah, I'm talking about Faye already perished. We know that, his wife. But I'm talking about Freya, the one who wants to kill him. I'm confused. Huh?
I said Faye, not Freya.
Okay.
Yeah, Faye. I said we would need to learn more about her throughout the story and who she was.
They have to show her in the next one. Okay, we had a little freeze there.
That was me.
Yeah, we had a. You're good now.
Raven? Okay.
They have to show her in the next one.
We have to learn more about Freya through Atreus and Kratos and stuff like that. That's just my take on it and stuff like that. I'm trying to think about how a story's gonna go, and also somehow come full circle on how Kratos doesn't want Atreus to be a god of war or any god, any selfish god, the ones that he came across. That's just my take.
I think if Kratos dies, they can't bring him back. If he dies, he dies. That's it. Like, you can't
All right,
have
Drago.
this. Yeah, but I'm saying you can't have this Dragon Ball Z. Let's get up all the 7 Dragon Balls and resurrect. You can't be doing stuff like that. I think that
I think he can come back as a semi-support character.
no way.
God.
No way. Well, that's your opinion, Title. I believe when I do believe when Kratos dies, he's finally gonna die. And now that Brian said after what he said, it kind of finalized my thought process on when Kratos receives that final blow that makes Atreus cradle him. I think Kratos is actually going to die. I think he's gonna be finalized at that moment, because I think that moment is gonna show Atreus that who Kratos really is. Despite Atreus not understanding his father gave up his life for him. His father, who was trying to teach him that being a god is not all about power. The father who was trying to teach him that killing has its consequences. Killing without no purpose has its consequences. And I think I think that's gonna shape Atreus. And I really think that's gonna finalize Kratos' life. And I think that's the death that's gonna basically lead him to finally, because as much as we love Kratos, he has to answer for all those things he did. Because remember, before he killed the Viking king, he went on a tear, man. He went on a tear and killed so many people, and he never was punished for it. And yes, he did die that time with the ferry boat man. When the ferry boat man actually killed him, he went down to hell. He climbed up all the way, whatever, with the help of Zeus or whatever the case may be. But he came back. You know what I mean? But he's gonna die here. I think he's gonna die here, and there's no reason to bring him back, even as a protector. Maybe when Atreus has his own game, whatever, he can have a superpower to call on a vision of his father to come out and help you in battle. That would be kind of hot. You know what I mean? But
that's the type of support character I'm talking about.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I agree with that. But for Kratos himself to actually be there mentally and physically, to be like, yeah, this is me. This is not no vision. No, I think he's gonna be done. I'm really disappointed to hear from Brian that Ragnarok is actually the final game of this non-trilogy. It's actually a trilogy. You know, I'm disappointed to hear that, but I mean, I guess they're doing that for a reason. There's a reason they're doing only 2 games with Atreus and his father, and I don't know. It's heartbreaking to hear that, honestly. This might be Kratos' last road. So, I mean, and remember, Blades of Chaos has already been revealed, so there's nothing much left for Kratos to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing left for him to prove. I think the only thing he has left to prove is that he is a good father, and I think he's gonna prove that by sacrificing his life for his son. And I think that's gonna make Atreus carry his dust to the same mountain he released his mother on.
Okay.
And that's the death I do believe may happen. That Kratos will actually be back with Faye in spirit in that type of death. You know, I can lean towards that type of happiness. If they give Kratos a happiness, it'll be that type of happiness, that he'll be finally reunited with Faye. You know. Not Lysandra, his first wife that he had to kill with Calliope. Talking about his new one, his new wife. And, yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Kratos to the T. Wow. The game does get people emotional. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's that'll be it. I mean, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know we dived deep in there, and I know we dived really deep into God of War. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. We sometimes get lost in the moment. Sometimes we dive in deeper than we intend to dive in. But listen, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you look out for any type of news and releases that you have. When Brian or Frank releases their channel, look out for that down in the news feed or whatever the case may be. And I will be releasing my Discord. I will open up my Discord for anybody who's wants to join a community to talk about different variations and also want to recommend episodes for the podcast. And our live podcast, yes, it will be happening, but not that soon. I can't promise you when, but it will be happening. I know I got some messages down on my Instagram and etc. about a live podcast. I was happy to see that, because I know that means some of you guys who actually sort of first podcast enjoyed it and wanted to chime in to what you wanted to say. But there's comments down below. You guys wasn't putting comments down below. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is Black Shy Guy. Thanks for sitting at my table and also Brian and Frank's table. We out of here. Peace.
Later.